Hi everybody, Marky Bilson here, and I want to comment a little bit about the Arizona Wildcats and how their football team really seems to be on kind of the periphery of what people are talking about in the football world, both in college and pro, during this period of time. Of course, the Wildcats just off a 2-touchdown victory of Texas Tech. They're 2-1. It looks pretty good to go 3-1 because after a bye week this Saturday, then the Wildcats will play UCLA, who are a sinking ship. And there is no coach under more of a hot seat than Chip Kelly. And it has become time where we look at just what Chip Kelly's influence has been on football. Now, at one point, it was the Oregon offense. It was going to be this very high, up-tempo offense that was going to produce a lot more scoring in college football and certainly be successful for Oregon. And that's what did happen. Of course, then he went to the pros. But when we last heard from Chip Kelly in the pros, he was the head coach of the 2016 San Francisco 49ers, who went 2-14. And the reason they went 2-14 is another man who's been in the football news a lot lately. That man, of course, is Colin Kaepernick. Now, where I think Chip Kelly lost it as a coach goes back to Colin Kaepernick. Remember, it's the preseason. Kaepernick is kneeling for the anthem for whatever reason. Remember that I'm doing this to protest police brutality. That kind of came out after the fact. And also, who doesn't have a problem with police brutality? I mean, we all do. But is this the best way to show your dissatisfaction? To do the most absolutely offensive thing you could to a great number of people? I mean, think about this. And so where I think Chip Kelly lost it as a coach is, here was Kaepernick, then his backup quarterback in the preseason, for crying out loud, meaningless game, and he's kneeling for the anthem, and Kelly did not come. What are you doing? Excuse me, what? Stand up. I will pick you up if I have to, and if you're not willing to, I don't care. This is not the way you go about doing that, Colin. You can either think about standing right now or going back into the locker room. A lot of guys can hold a clipboard for us. If Kelly had done that, and you can tell me, hey, this is the NFL, it's not high school, but hold on to that thought here for a second. If Kelly had done that, he would have taken the reins of his team, he would have been the unquestioned leader, and he couldn't have gone worse than 2-14. Now, that's the benefit of hindsight, but why are you allowing one of your reserves to do this, to take control of the team, which was obviously what was going to happen when you're allowing your quarterback to kneel, your backup quarterback to kneel for the anthem? But instead of doing this, Kelly eventually made him the starter and didn't bench him when things weren't going any better for the 49ers with Kaepernick than they were with Blaine Gabbert. Now think about that for a second here. Kelly right now is a coach that appears to be so weak, he's not even willing to put in his preferred offense on his team. This is not what a leader does. Now, I realize that you could say, look, Marky, even if you were of that political or cultural persuasion where you stand for the anthem no matter what, are you really going to be able to do that in professional sports? The answer is yes. A generation ago, David Stern, who is hardly a right-winger, had a player in the NBA, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, who was kneeling for the anthem. He wasn't doing it to protest police brutality. He was doing it because, if you'd ask him, I think America is an oppressive country and blah, blah, blah. I mean, Stern, and this is the NBA, this is a fan base and a culture that really right now would, yes, stand with Kaepernick. And certainly even in 1996, a similar mindset would have prevailed, but Stern would have none of it. He realized what a cancer that could be for the NBA. He immediately suspended Abdul Rauf, demanded that he stand for the anthem, and he did. Admittedly, Abdul Rauf did look down and recite a prayer as the anthem was going on, but still, a compromise action was taken, and frankly, a man standing for the anthem and praying as it is played is not going to be offensive to veterans and all of this. Now, the thing about this, you can say Kaepernick was blackballed. If you remember on my show, I was saying as his ship was sinking that he was not going to play in the NFL after 2016 for a couple of the reasons. The NFL does not like distractions. Now, if you are a real star player, you can maybe march to the beat of your own drummer. You can, it said the old Jets used to have one set of rules for Joe Namath and another set of rules for the rest of the team because Namath was the meal ticket, okay? And Namath took care of the guys and all that. So, like, for instance, Weeb Ewbank used to have a rule, no chewing tobacco with the New York Jets at practices. Well, Namath was known for putting some underneath his lip during the time, okay? And nobody really in the Jets cared about it because they knew, look, we're not going to make a big fuss when our ticket to the Super Bowl right here is enjoying some snuff. I mean, that's not, and we can't, well, okay. I mean, we'll do that. He's buying us rounds there at Bachelor's too. It's okay. You can have sets of rules like that. Yes, I do understand a lot of times the stars have a different set of rules than the rest of the team. However, we're talking about, at the time, a backup quarterback, a sinking ship of a quarterback I don't think should have been a starter ever in the first place. Alex Smith was 13-3 in 2011. The 49ers, when Kaepernick took over in 2012, were 12-4. Kaepernick always was the epitome of the quarterback that I personally hate. It's the guy that takes off and runs every chance he gets. Running quarterbacks are sacked more than drop-back quarterbacks. I know that's surprising to people, but it is true. You will see a situation when the play starts 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Is that better, or is it better when the play begins 10 yards downfield after you've thrown the ball and the receiver has caught it? Obviously, you know the answer to that. But Kaepernick in the Super Bowl that he took the 49ers to, when he got into the red zone with a minute left, he realized, geez, I can't scramble my way into the end zone. There's not enough space. He targeted Michael Crabtree. Crabtree was covered every time. Couldn't get the Niners into the end zone. The Ravens win the Super Bowl. And after that, Kaepernick slowly but surely took a downward spiral until he was finally benched by Jim Tomsula in 2015. The thing about Kaepernick also is that a lot of his stats came in garbage time. I'll give you an example, that 2015 season, 49ers played the Steelers. I remember this vividly. The Steelers took a 29-3 halftime lead on the 49ers. They had the game won early. Well, now it's garbage time. Now it's call off the dogs. But Kaepernick was allowed by Tomsula to try to rally the troops back. He gets a couple of late touchdowns in the fourth quarter and finishes up with more than 250 passing yards. So stats look real good. Problem was, it was all garbage stats. It was all when it didn't matter. When Kaepernick became the starting quarterback of the 49ers in 2016, he never put more than 24 points on the board for the 49ers. And you've got all these people clamoring, Kaepernick deserves a shot. And when last we saw, he wasn't playing significantly better than Blaine Gabbert. When last we saw, that 24-point total that he put up in 2016 against the Dolphins, also garbage time points. Dolphins had the game won in the fourth quarter. They're up by 17, 31-14. Kaepernick, dogs are called off. Couple of late scores, makes the score look good. 31-24. That's so much Colin Kaepernick. Look, the Ravens did give him a tryout. They didn't like what they saw. There's a reason why the guy has been out of the league for 3 years. It's because he's not real good. And name for me, I will say this until it is the biggest truth you're going to find, where you stand on Colin Kaepernick, whether you think he was a good quarterback or not, isn't necessarily your ability to judge football talent. It's where your politics lie. That is what influences your feelings on Colin Kaepernick, either yay or nay. And I know of no other quarterback who's been out of football for 3 years who the media is clamoring for a comeback. Who is saying, well, this guy, this former first-round pick, was just signed by the Steelers, but he's not as good as Colin Kaepernick. What has Colin Kaepernick done since 2012? And even then, I don't think he got the job done. I think if you go back, 49ers fans would like to play that season again with Alex Smith, because he couldn't do any worse and he could only win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the thing. I realize that is a standard of championship or bust, so you don't win the championship. Well, let's see what somebody else could have done. I mean, I realize you've got that, but still, there's a reason why Alex Smith is being re-signed by other teams, why he's taking the Chiefs to the playoffs with the best record in the AFC, why the Redskins want to spend big bucks on him, and Kaepernick is piloting a sinking ship. One was better than the other. There's a reason why Jim Harbaugh is coaching in college now and not with the 49ers. He made the wrong decision 7 years ago on who his starting quarterback should be. A guy who's all legs, and even in that famous 2016 season, worst rated quarterback in the pocket of any starting quarterback in the league. Do you need any more proof that he's all legs? Final thought here on Kaepernick. If you are trying to say, well, he deserves a spot, but look what he did in 2012, by that same argument, I should be able to argue that Eli Manning should still be the quarterback of the New York Giants. Because, hey, he won the Super Bowl in 2011. Where are the writers saying, trade Eli? Why, these teams, they're signing these garbage quarterbacks when they could trade for Eli Manning. He did it in 2011. That's the argument. He did it in 2012. And not really that the apologists for Colin Kaepernick are making. Most overrated quarterback I think I have ever seen. And Chip Kelly, as we can see, the guy who really could have stopped this all by just saying and taking control of his team. But what are you doing? Look, you want to protest police brutality, fine. Write a letter to the editor. Go to a rally. You don't do that here. Could have taken control of his team and said he lost control of his team. And now he will never have control of a team again, as UCLA is as much of a sinking ship as the 49ers were when he was coaching them. I'm Marky Bilson.